Imagine this, a crown that isn't really a crown at all. One moment it rests on the head of a Grand Duchess, glittering with diamonds and sapphires. The next, it slips effortlessly into the form of a necklace, a pendant, or even a pair of brooches. It is a jewel that refuses to be just one thing, a piece of history that transforms itself, much like the monarchy it represents. And today, as Luxembourg prepares for the symbolic passing of the throne, the world's eyes are drawn once again to this extraordinary creation, the Grand Ducal Sapphire and Diamond Tiara. Hidden in the vaults of the Luxembourg Grand Ducal family lies a treasure trove of mid-20th century jewellery. These are not just ornaments, but echoes of a dazzling era, the 1950s, 60s and 70s, when post-war Europe reinvented glamour. At the heart of this collection is a woman who shaped its legacy, Grand Duchess Josephine Charlotte, a Belgian princess who married Grand Duke Jean in 1953. She brought with her both royal gravitas and a remarkable eye for style. Among her jewels, none shines brighter or adapts more cleverly than the transformable sapphire tiara. At its core is a jewel unlike any other, a massive sapphire cabochon, polished smooth like a midnight sea under moonlight, encased in a square frame of brilliant diamonds. On either side rest smaller sapphire and diamond motifs sparkling like celestial companions. Connecting them is a delicate garland of diamond flowers, softening the rigid geometry with nature's breath. Yet, what makes this jewel so extraordinary is not only its beauty, but its versatility. With a few clever adjustments, it separates into 3 independent pieces. The central sapphire becomes a brooch or pendant, while the side elements transform into brooch clips, perfect accents for a lapel or collar. Though most often worn as a necklace, the jewel possesses the ability to crown a sovereign. Set into a simple frame, it rises into a tiara, a symbol of authority and elegance. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, official portraits captured Grand Duchess Josephine Charlotte wearing the piece as a regal diadem, alongside other transformable treasures, a diamond necklace gifted from the Congo and a sapphire bracelet. Together they formed a vision of adaptable luxury, jewels that could shift with the occasion, just as royalty must shift with the times. The tiara did not remain confined to portraits. In 1996, at the grand celebration of her cousin, King Carl XVI, Gustav of Sweden's 50th birthday, Josephine Charlotte wore the jewel as a necklace. She paired it with the famous Belgian scroll tiara and matching sapphire and diamond earrings, her look completed by the central element of her bracelet, which she wore as a brooch. The effect was breathtaking, tradition meeting innovation, a queenly figure clad in jewels that told her family's story. After Josephine Charlotte's death in 2005, much of her private jewellery was auctioned, but this sapphire treasure remained with the main branch of the family. Since then, it has found a new guardian, Grand Duchess Maria Theresa. Unlike her predecessor, she has mostly worn it in its necklace form, letting the sapphires cascade across her neckline during state visits and royal banquets. In 2006, at the 60th birthday of the Swedish king, she paired the necklace with another versatile piece, the Chaumet choker tiara. In 2023, during the German president's state visit, she matched the jewel with a vivid pink gown. And again in 2024, she chose it to complement a sleek navy jumpsuit at a European Cultural Award ceremony. The mystery of Luxembourg's rubies, a hidden treasure, and its enigmatic history. Picture this. The lights of a grand ballroom dim, the music softens, and all eyes turn to a princess who has just entered. Around her neck glitters a necklace ablaze with fire-red rubies and brilliant diamonds. From her ears cascade chandelier earrings, each movement scattering sparks of light. And then the crowning detail. An elegant tiara that seems almost too perfect, as if designed to whisper a secret. This is no ordinary jewellery set. This is the ruby and diamond parure of Luxembourg, a jewel shrouded in mystery, with an origin story that no one has ever been able to fully unravel. The set is dazzling, and yet its history is incomplete. Unlike many other grand ducal treasures, which can be traced back to weddings, coronations, or royal gifts, the rubies and diamonds parure seems to have appeared out of nowhere. Who made it? Who first wore it? Who brought it into the vaults of Luxembourg's ruling family? The answers remain elusive, and that is what makes this jewel so captivating. The parure consists of three main elements: a bold, gem-studded necklace, a pair of lavish chandelier earrings, and a bracelet that, with a clever transformation, becomes a tiara. That tiara is especially striking, crafted with aquamarine tones that soften the intensity of rubies and diamonds. It resembles other famous Luxembourg pieces, such as the aquamarine and citrine tiaras adorned with pearls. Yet it has its own distinct personality, blending serenity with fire, calmness with passion. For years, speculation swirled around its origins. Some believed the set was a wedding gift to Princess Clare from her wealthy German family. Others whispered a more exotic theory, that the parure came as a gift from a Middle Eastern royal house, adding an international layer of intrigue. Jewellery historians have pored over its style and craftsmanship, but no definitive answer has emerged. The more they search, the more questions arise. The world first caught a glimpse of this jewel in 2015, when Princess Clare wore the entire set at her very first National Day Gala. That evening, beneath the gilded ceilings of the Grand Ducal Palace, she stunned the audience. The rubies flared against her skin like embers in the dark, the diamonds glittered like frost, and the aquamarine undertones gave the whole ensemble a surreal glow. It was, in many ways, the perfect debut, not just for a princess, but for a jewel that had slept in silence until that night. Imagine this: a young woman, once a waitress, a single mother raising her little boy on her own. One day she walks into a palace, not as a guest, not as a servant, but as a bride to a real prince. Sounds like a fairy tale? It's not. It's the true story of Norway's crown princess, Mette-Marit. Her life reads like a modern Cinderella. When she married Crown Prince Haakon in 2001, the world was watching. But unlike the harsh tales of royal traditions and cold judgment, Norway's monarchy welcomed her with open arms. And the people of Norway embraced her too, affectionately naming her the Snow Princess. From that day on, Mette-Marit's style became a symbol of quiet elegance. She doesn't need dramatic gowns or heavy crowns to make an impression. Instead, she chooses simplicity, a Scandinavian minimalism that speaks louder than opulence. Yet, among all her jewels, there's one piece that has become her signature: the diamond daisy tiara. This delicate band of sparkling daisies first appeared on her wedding day. It was a gift from King Harold and Queen Sonja, a symbol of acceptance and love as she stepped into her new life. Unlike many grand royal tiaras that weigh heavily on the head, and even more heavily on tradition, the diamond daisy is light, almost whisper-like, perfect for a modern princess. But the story of this tiara is wrapped in mystery. Crafted in 1910, no one knows for certain how it entered Norway's royal vaults. Some say it was acquired from Garrard, Britain's oldest jeweller, famed for creating dazzling pieces for queens and princesses. Others whisper that it may have once sparkled not in a palace, but on a movie set. Yes, rumour has it that the very same tiara was worn by Kate Blanchett in the 1999 film An Ideal Husband. Could it be true? Perhaps. After all, film studios often borrow real jewels for their productions. What matters more, however, is not where it came from, but what it represents now. For Mette-Marit, the tiara is more than diamonds and craftsmanship. It's memory, identity, comfort. She often pairs it with chandelier earrings once worn by her husband's grandmother, Crown Princess Mirtha, creating a bridge between past and present, between tradition and her own personal journey. And maybe that's why the diamond daisy feels so perfect on her. It's not a heavy crown of dominance or duty. It's a band of flowers, fragile yet eternal, like the life she built from ordinary roots into something extraordinary. When Mette Marit wears it, she isn't just Norway's crown princess. She's the living proof that fairy tales can step off the page and walk among us. Picture this. It's December of 1926. Christmas is just around the corner in Luxembourg. Prince Felix of Bourbon-Parma is faced with a dilemma. What kind of gift can he possibly give to his beloved wife, Grand Duchess Charlotte of Luxembourg? After all, Charlotte is not just any woman, she is a reigning sovereign, and her jewel box is already overflowing with treasures. Felix could have chosen something modest, but he wanted a gift worthy of both his love and her crown. So he sent a parcel to Paris to the world-renowned jeweller Chaumet. Inside, a glittering collection of jewels, a pair of earrings, a necklace, a brooch, a diamond of remarkable size, and, most importantly, a breathtaking 45-carat pear-shaped emerald. Chaumet's craftsmen got to work, and what they created was nothing short of a masterpiece. The result was an Art Deco tiara, sleek and modern, yet inspired by the harmony of ancient Greek design. At first glance, the crown looks smooth and continuous, but as you draw closer, intricate geometric patterns emerge, every line carved in diamonds, set in platinum. At the center, the jewelers placed two magnificent stones, the enormous emerald cabochon on top, and directly beneath it, the brilliant diamond. On December 22nd, the tiara was delivered to Felix. One can easily imagine it wrapped in velvet, hidden beneath a Christmas tree, ready to take Charlotte's breath away. And it did. The tiara instantly became one of her favorites. She wore it to grand state occasions, and her official portraits immortalize the striking combination of her royal presence and the glowing emerald crown. Years passed, and so did the jewel's legacy. When Charlotte abdicated in favor of her son John, the tiara went on to John's wife, Josephine Charlotte of Belgium, who wore it often with regal confidence. Later, when John himself stepped down in 2000, the jewel passed into the collection of Maria Theresa, wife of Grand Duke Henry. Maria Theresa was especially fond of this piece. She often paired the emerald tiara with other historic jewels, like Queen Astrid's emerald necklace and the earrings once belonging to Josephine Charlotte. For her, it was not just a tiara. It was a link between generations of Luxembourg's royal women. And the story doesn't end there. In 2023, the emerald tiara made yet another dazzling public appearance. This time it rested on the head of Princess Alexandra, the only daughter of Grand Duke Henri and Maria Theresa. At a New Year's reception, she wore the tiara alongside antique emerald earrings and a matching bracelet, a modern princess, continuing the legacy of her grandmother and great-grandmother. The Chaumet emerald tiara is more than a piece of jewelry. It is history, love, and artistry woven into one brilliant crown. A Christmas gift that became an heirloom. A treasure that will continue to shine on the heads of Luxembourg's royals for generations to come. Imagine entering a glittering ballroom, and your eyes are instantly drawn to a tiara that seems alive. Its curves twist like vines, its flowers and leaves bloom with the fire of countless diamonds. This is the Savoy Aosta tiara, and the woman who so often brings it to life today is Princess Astrid of Belgium. What makes this tiara fascinating is not just its beauty, but its journey through history. It belongs not to Belgium, but to the Savoy Aosta branch of Italy's former royal family. Its design is lyrical: flowers, leaves, and swirling scrolls, all set in white metal, most likely platinum. Silver would have been too simple for royalty, And so the tiara sparkles like frost in the sunlight, a crown of nature reimagined in diamonds. But let's go back to its first great wearer, Princess Anne of Orléans. In 1927, she married her cousin, Prince Amadeo of Savoy. She wore the tiara low across her forehead as a bandeau, in the chic fashion of the era. When her husband became Duke of Aosta in 1931, Anne stepped fully into her role as Duchess, with the tiara as a symbol of her new place in history. The story turns tragic during the Second World War. Amadeo was captured in Africa and died in captivity in Kenya. He and Anne had only daughters, so the dukedom passed to his younger brother. Most of the family wealth shifted as well, yet Anne kept the jewels, and with them, the Savoy Aosta tiara remained in the hands of the duchesses. Over time, the tiara appeared at glittering occasions across Europe. Anne lent it to Princess Maria Beatrice for the wedding of Juan Carlos of Spain and Princess Sofia of Greece. It also shone at Belgian royal celebrations. Slowly, this Italian jewel began weaving itself into Belgium's royal life. That brings us to 1984, when Prince Lorenz of Austria-Este married Princess Astrid of Belgium, the only sister of today's King Philippe. Through her husband's family, Astrid gained the tiara, and it became, in practice, her only diadem. She wears it often with gowns of every colour for state banquets and royal weddings. While the Belgian monarchy is not wealthy compared to other European houses, this single tiara has become Astrid's constant companion, her signature piece. Occasionally, Astrid has borrowed other jewels, such as an Art Deco bandeau from her mother. But the truth remains, the Savoy Aosta tiara is her crown, her identity in diamonds. In a way, it seems only right that this Italian jewel now lives in Belgium, a country where so many tiaras carry stories of exile, inheritance, and return. The Savoy Aosta tiara is more than just sparkle. It is a survivor of war, of dynastic change, of shifting fortunes. It carries the memory of Princess Anne's tragic loss, of royal weddings across Europe, and now of Astrid's steady role in the modern Belgian monarchy. When she wears it, history itself takes the stage, a crown of flowers that never fades. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine Hollywood in the 1950s, a world of flashing cameras, velvet gowns, and silver screens. At the very center of it all was Grace Kelly, the star who seemed to shine brighter than the spotlight itself. She was the highest-paid actress of her time, the darling of directors, the face of elegance. She even won the ultimate prize in cinema, the Academy Award. And then, in a twist no screenwriter could have dreamed better, she walked away from Hollywood forever. Why? Because Grace Kelly had fallen in love. In 1956, she married Prince Rainier III of Monaco and stepped into a different kind of role, that of a real-life princess. With a wedding as grand as this, the gifts had to be equally extraordinary. One of the most remarkable came from the National Council of Monaco. At first, they intended to commission Cartier to create an entire parure of rubies and diamonds. But disagreements over price put the project on hold. In the end, they chose something simpler but no less dazzling, a diamond necklace from Cartier itself, paired with a bracelet specially made to match by Van Cleef and Arpels. The necklace is a masterpiece of design, a festoon style with 3 draping strands of diamonds tapering elegantly at the edges. Round stones catch the light like drops of starlight, while sleek baguette diamonds give it a modern edge. Traditional yet contemporary, it was the perfect symbol for a woman bridging 2 worlds, Hollywood glamour and royal grace. Curiously, on the day of the civil wedding ceremony, Grace wore no jewels at all. Dressed in a soft pink lace gown by Helen Rose, she appeared serene and understated, as if saving the brilliance for what came next. Later, at the celebratory dinner between the civil and religious ceremonies, she unveiled the necklace for the first time. Around her neck sparkled the council's gift, and on her head sat a Cartier tiara glittering with rubies and diamonds. The world was spellbound. Over the years, Princess Grace often wore the necklace at state events, sometimes paired with the Bains de Mer tiara, sometimes with her all-diamond diadem. Each appearance reinforced its role not only as a jewel, but as a symbol of her transformation from movie star to princess consort. Today, the necklace rests in the jewel collection of Monaco's princely family. It has become both heirloom and history, occasionally displayed at exhibitions where visitors can marvel at its delicate brilliance. And yet, it waits, perhaps for the perfect moment to shine again. Many imagine it adorning the neck of Grace's daughter-in-law, Princess Charlene. It would be a fitting tribute, one radiant princess honoring another through the same cascade of diamonds. The necklace, after all, is more than gemstones. It is romance frozen in platinum, a wedding gift that captured the magic of a Hollywood star's greatest role, the role of a princess who became eternal. What if I told you that one jewel could completely change the way a woman is perceived? That one necklace, when draped across the shoulders of a royal figure, could soften her image, make her appear younger, more radiant, more approachable. Such a jewel exists in the collection of Britain's Queen Consort, Camilla Parker Bowles. It is her extraordinary pearl and aquamarine necklace. Camilla's jewel box is impressive, filled with tiaras, brooches, rings and necklaces, many of them gifts from her husband, King Charles III. Others were inherited from Queen Elizabeth II's vast collection. But among them all, one piece stands out for its unique charm. It is not the grandest tiara nor the most historic brooch. Instead, it is this breathtaking necklace of pearls and a single commanding aquamarine gemstone. The design is exquisite. Multiple strands of creamy pearls are gathered around a large aquamarine, framed in intricate goldwork. The golden setting itself is decorated with tiny diamonds, which catch the light and emphasize the deep, shifting hues of the aquamarine. Depending on the dress she wears and the lighting in the room, the stone can appear icy blue, sea green, or even a soft grey. The effect is mesmerizing, as if the jewel carries a piece of the ocean itself. The origins of the necklace are still debated. Some jewel experts believe it was a personal commission. Others argue it was a gift from her husband. But the most accepted version is more intimate, that Camilla inherited it from her mother. If true, it explains why the Queen Consort has worn it so often and with such affection. In fact, Camilla's history with this necklace goes back long before her marriage to Charles. She wore it at private family celebrations, at charity events, and on official tours abroad. At her sister's birthday party at the Ritz Hotel in 1999, she shone with it against the glitter of champagne lights. Later, she carried it with her on state visits to Japan, Trinidad, and Tobago, and beyond. Each time, the necklace gave her a glow that no stage light could imitate. But the necklace is more than beauty. It has played a subtle role in Camilla's long and complicated journey into royal life. Once criticized and even rejected by the royal establishment, she worked tirelessly to prove herself worthy of her position. And what better armor than elegance? The aquamarine necklace became part of her signature, softening her image, framing her with grace, and reminding the world that style is its own form of diplomacy. Today, Camilla's jewel collection has expanded enormously, and the aquamarine necklace appears less often. But absence only adds to its mystique. When it does emerge, it instantly reminds us of her personal story, a woman who turned obstacles into resilience and who wore a piece of the sea close to her heart. The pearls symbolize tradition, the aquamarine represents clarity and calm, and together they form a necklace that is not just a jewel, but a portrait of its wearer. For Camilla, this necklace will always remain something more than an accessory. It is memory, identity, and transformation, all bound in one shining ornament. It was less than 2 weeks after the coronation of King Charles III when the glittering halls of Geneva echoed with the excitement of an auction. At Christie's magnificent jewels sale, bidders raised their paddles for a masterpiece with a royal past, the Besper tiara. Created in 1931 by the famed Parisian jeweller Chaumet, this Art Deco tiara was commissioned by the 9th Earl of Besper as a gift for his wife, Roberta Ponsonby. The moment was significant. Her husband had just been appointed Governor-General of Canada, and a new chapter in their public life was beginning. What better way to mark the occasion than with diamonds? The tiara's design was a triumph of the Art Deco age. Crafted in platinum, it blossomed with floral motifs, delicate leaves and petals, each one glittering with marquise-cut diamonds, single stones, and antique cuts. At its heart rested a particularly impressive diamond, gifted to Lord Besper by the De Beers Company when he stepped down as its director. A diamond with its own story, placed at the centre of a tiara destined for history. Lady Besper wore the tiara with elegance, both in Canada during official duties and later in London's high society. It shone at the coronation of King George VI in 1937 and once again at Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953. But perhaps its most fascinating moment came through an unexpected transatlantic connection. In the late 1930s, Joseph Kennedy Sr. served as US ambassador to Britain. His wife, Rose Kennedy, faced the daunting task of attending court presentations at Buckingham Palace. There was one problem: she had no tiara. For an American woman about to present her daughters, including Rosemary and Kathleen Kennedy, to the King and Queen, appearing without a diadem was unthinkable. The crisis was solved by a gesture of kindness. Roberta, Lady Besper, lent her friend Rose the dazzling tiara. That evening, Rose appeared before the court crowned in diamonds, accompanied by her daughters. A correspondent for the Daily News described her gown of white satin and golden lace, embroidered with sequins that shimmered with every movement. On her head, the Besper tiara transformed her into the very image of elegance. Years later, Rose would recall with gratitude how her sympathetic new friend had saved her from embarrassment, and how her children were awed by the glittering jewel. After Lady Besper's death in 1979, the tiara remained in the family, appearing occasionally in Chaumet exhibitions. Then, in 2023, it returned to the spotlight. At auction, the hammer fell at 945,000 Swiss francs. The buyer, cloaked in secrecy, chose to remain unnamed. The Besper tiara is more than diamonds and platinum. It is a crown that crossed oceans, linked British aristocracy with America's most famous political dynasty, and carried with it memories of coronations, diplomacy, and friendship. Today, its whereabouts may be unknown, but its story continues to shine. Imagine a quiet Christmas at Windsor Castle in the midst of the Second World War. London is darkened by air raids, the Blitz has left its mark, and yet within the castle walls, a different kind of magic is unfolding. Princess Elizabeth, just a young girl at the time, is preparing for a performance, a pantomime staged for charity, a small sparkle of light amid the gloom. Pantomimes were a beloved tradition of the British aristocracy. Short plays based on fairy tales or folklore, performed almost entirely without words, with music, song, and movement conveying the story. For young Elizabeth and her sister Margaret, these productions were more than entertainment. They were a way to contribute to the war effort. All funds raised went to supply the British Army with essential items: warm clothing, blankets, bedding, and hygiene products. Even children from local schools, friends, and castle staff joined in, creating a miniature royal theatre troupe. Elizabeth had already stepped into a male role in 1941's Cinderella, portraying Prince Floris, while Margaret played the heroine. 2 years later, she became the lead male character in Aladdin, while Margaret played Princess Roxana. By December 1944, the sisters were performing in The Old Mother in Red Boots, a pantomime staged within Windsor Castle's stately walls. In this play, Elizabeth took on the role of Lady Christina Sherwood, while Margaret became Lucinda Fairfax. It is a photograph from this very production that has recently captured public attention. In it, Elizabeth's hair is crowned with a sparkling tiara. But there's a twist. This is no traditional royal jewel. The tiara is a costume piece created specifically for the stage. And yet, it isn't entirely a replica. The pearls adorning it are real. Even in a playful theatrical setting, the young princess had to shine. Royals simply do not perform half-heartedly, and every detail, even a stage accessory, had to reflect grace and elegance. The tiara itself tells a story beyond the stage. It represents the careful balance between youthful play and royal duty, between entertainment and service. Through these wartime pantomimes, Elizabeth learned poise, presence, and the subtle art of commanding attention, lessons that would serve her decades later as queen. Every pearl, every curve of the costume crown reminds us that even in the most whimsical moments, royalty carries responsibility, dignity, and an unspoken magic. This tiny, temporary tiara may have been created for a few hours of performance, yet it resonates across history. It connects us to a young Elizabeth, full of charm and curiosity, learning about her future role while also contributing meaningfully to her country. The photograph captures more than a costume. It captures a moment where play, duty, and elegance converge, a delicate foreshadowing of the regal presence she would one day embody. Even now, decades later, looking at that photograph, we can almost hear the music, feel the laughter of the audience, and see the sparkle in Elizabeth's eyes as she wore a tiara that was more than costume, a first glimmer of the queen she would become. When we think of the Belgian royal family, elegance comes to mind, not just in their manners, but in the jewels they wear. Among these treasures, few are as remarkable as the wedding tiara of Princess Clare of Belgium, a piece that embodies sophistication, brilliance, and a touch of magic. Princess Clare married Prince Laurent, the youngest son of King Albert II and Queen Paola, on April 12, 2003. In celebration of their union, the king and queen presented the bride with a magnificent wedding gift, a diamond tiara that immediately captured attention. Delicate arches adorned with large diamonds seemed to float above smaller stones at the base, creating an ethereal effect as if the diamonds themselves were suspended in air. It was jewellery artistry at its finest. On her wedding day, Princess Clare paired the tiara with pearl earrings, also a gift from the royal couple, completing a look of understated grandeur. Her gown, crafted by renowned Belgian designer Edouard Vermeulen, was so elegant that it later inspired a dress worn by Anne Hathaway in a scene from The Princess Diaries. Just a week after the wedding, Princess Clare wore her new tiara at a state banquet in the Royal Palace of Brussels, held in honour of the visiting Norwegian king and queen. A year later, she displayed the jewel at the wedding of Crown Prince Frederik and Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, cementing its role as a centerpiece in royal celebrations. By 2006, however, the wedding tiara had made its final public appearance during a formal banquet for the official visit of the Dutch king and queen to Belgium. After this, Princess Clare gradually transitioned to another piece, a diamond tiara featuring a heraldic lily motif set against vertical lines and crowned with pearls. This new tiara became her signature for major events, worn at the wedding of Sweden's Crown Princess Victoria, the 2011 nuptials of Prince Albert II of Monaco and Princess Charlene, the 2012 wedding of the hereditary Grand Duke of Luxembourg, Guillaume, and Countess Stéphanie de Lannoy, and even during a state visit to Belgium in 2018. As for the original wedding tiara, its fate remains shrouded in mystery. Some claim it was sold, others suggest it was redesigned, yet no one knows for certain. What we do know is the joy and elegance it brought to Princess Clare during those early years of her marriage. And perhaps one day, this exquisite jewel will re-emerge, sparkling once again in the public eye, reminding us of the brilliance and artistry of the Belgian royal family's treasures. In the world of royal jewels, some pieces are timeless, others live quietly in collections, waiting for the perfect occasion to shine again. The wedding tiara of Princess Clare is one of those rare gems, a symbol of love, legacy, and the delicate artistry that makes royal jewelry truly unforgettable.